All right, guys, so this is review for the Test 5. Test 5 is actually a pretty easy test if you will study. It's all very similar to this review, almost in the exact same order. So make sure when you work through this, if you have questions, come and ask, because I'm not joking that this is almost exactly like the test. The test is 20 questions. 9 are regular questions, 11 are multiple choice, so that might make you feel better. So let's look at number 1. Through the point -4, -2 with slope, m equals -2/3. So remember, they're giving us a point to start with that we have to plot first. So -4, -2 is down here. Then they give us a negative slope of 2/3. So this is going to be down and to the right. So down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. I want 4 points. If you have a problem like this, if you can, at least, then just connect those points with a line. If you do not connect those points, you will lose points. Another type of problem you might see would be where they give it to you where it's already y equals. Well, this asks for the slope and the y-intercept. Well, the slope is 2/7. The y-intercept is -4, or we could say 0.0, -4. So this is our starting point. This tells us what direction. So 0, -4. And since it's positive, I'm going to go up and to the right. So up 2, right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now obviously I can't put another point in that direction, but I can in the opposite by going down and to the left. So it's going to be down 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's your line. So far, guys, that's really not that bad. The next one adds a little bit more to it. These are not solved for y yet, but they're still asking us for the slope and the y-intercept. So be careful when you solve it for y. We're in standard form, so I'm going to subtract the x's first by subtracting 2x. I have -4y equals -2x plus 8. Then I divide all the sides by -4. And now I simplify. So I got y equals, well, I have -2/-4, but you can put that in your calculator, hit math, enter, that's 1/2 x. And then 8 divided by that's a -8, almost messed up there. So guys, this is actually -2x minus 8 divided by -4 gives me +2. Sorry about that. Then we can pull our slope and our y-intercept out of that. I get 1/2 for the slope, 2 is b, so the point 0, 2. So now it turns in just to what we did on the last one. We start with over 0 up 2. We have a positive slope. So that's up and to the right. So up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. And there's our line. Number 4 is basically the same thing. We have to solve it for y first. So -2x on both sides. I end up with 5y equals -2x plus 10. Got it right that time. Now I need to divide everything by 5 and end up with y equals, well, I have -2/5, which can't be simplified, x plus 2. So my slope is -2/5, and my y-intercept is 0, 2. So I have over 0 up 2. It's negative, so I'm going to go down and to the right. Down 2, right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, miscounted there. Down 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more point, so I'm going in the opposite direction. I'm going to go up 2 and left 5. And there's your line. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and go to the second page. Now, I want you to pay close attention to what's going on here because it's no longer asking us for the slope in the y-intercept. It's asking us for both intercepts. So you need to remember a couple of things when you do this. First, for the x-intercept, y has to be 0. For the y-intercept, x has to be 0. So we're going to plug those things in and find those points. So first I'm going to find the x-intercept. So I'm going to plug in 0 for y. So I get 5x minus 2 times 0 equals 10. -2 times 0 basically goes away because it's 0, and I get 5x equals 10. I divide both sides by 5, and I found out that x equals 2. So the x-intercept is 2, or you could write the point 2, 0. Now I do the same thing for the y-intercept, except I plug in 0 for x instead of y. So 5 times 0 minus 2y equals 10. The 5 times 0 goes away. I divide both sides by -2, and I get y equals -5. So this is the point 0, -5, or you can just write -5. Sorry, they got so jumbled in there. Now we just plot those 2 points and we're finished. So over 2 up 0 is right here. Over 0 down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right here. And I sketch my line. So not too bad, guys. Now, I really want you to be careful on 6, 7 as well, because these are some that we've had troubles with. Now, the first one says y equals -1. You could put that in your calculator into y equals and see what it looks like. But y equals -1 is right here. Y equals is a horizontal line. So if you see y equals, you need to make it left to right. Now, the slope of every y equals is always 0. So you can do that without even touching the graph. And the y-intercept is always the number it equals. Okay, so you don't even have to graph to get those 2 parts right. Well, when you have y equals and x equals, they're opposite of each other. So if y equals is left to right, x equals must be up to down, or down to up. So x equals -3 is right here. I draw a vertical line through that point. Now, the second you see x equals, you should think slope is undefined, and there is no y-intercept. So those are actually pretty easy if you just remember a couple little things. And then the last one's number 8. There's not a lot to do here. We have to solve it for y, but the only thing I have to do that is divide both sides by 2, and I get y equals 2x. So I have a slope of 2, or 2 over 1, and my y-intercept is 0, or the point 0, 0, since there's nothing out behind the x. So I plot 0, 0. It's positive, so it's up and to the right, up 2 over 1. Do that a couple of times, and I've got my graph. Okay, so that basically covers all the graphing stuff. Be careful to realize if you just have one variable, it's either up, down, or left, right. If it says intercepts, find the intercepts. If it says slope, find the slope. All right, let's go down to the next part. Now, these kind of questions will mostly be multiple choice on the test, but pay attention because they're really not that bad. So number 9 says, what's the slope of the line? Remember, pick any 2 points on the graph and count rise over run. My run is 2, my rise is 1. So my slope m is 1/2, but it's going down and to the right, so that slope is negative. The y-intercept, or b, is where it crosses the y-axis. It looks like that's at +9, or the point 0, 9. I'm going to skip x-intercept for just a second, go to the equation. Remember, on the equation, guys, we're basing it off of y equals mx plus b, which we found already. We know that m is 1/2 and b is 9, so let's just fill them in. Y equals -1/2 x plus 9. Now, I'm going to use that to find the x-intercept, because the x-intercept is way off the graph over here, and it's easier to do it this way. We know when it's the x-intercept that y equals 0, so I'll just plug 0 in for y and solve. I'm going to do it down here, though. So 0 equals -1/2 x plus 9. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. -9 equals -1/2 x. And to clear fractions, I multiply by the denominator. In this case, I'm going to use -2. -2 times -9 is 18, equals, those cancel, 1x. So my x-intercept is +18. Now, pay attention on the next two. It says, what's y when x is 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's x is 6. You need to figure out how far we need to go up or down to get to the line. I need to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get there. So when x is 6, y is 6. Now the x is different. It says what's x when y equals 4? Well, here's y equals 4. You're going to have to see how far the line goes left or right. Now again, this one's kind of off the graph here. You could just plug this into your equation that you got. You know y equals 4, and you could solve backwards. But if we kind of use our slope, we can figure this one out too. It's going down 1, right 2 every time. So down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2 gives us that point, and it is 10 units away. So x is 10 when y is 4. Let's go to the last page. Now be careful on these problems, and I want you to pay attention to something. It says if f of x is 2x squared plus 1, find the range if the domain is -2, 0, and 3. I'm going to write this out in function notation. I have f of -2. And guys, when you see it written this way, it means plug in -2 for x. So I have 2 in open parentheses, put the -2 in, then you can plug it into your calculator. Same thing with the other two, f of 0, means I plug in 0 for x. And then I have f of 3, which means I plug in 3 for x. You can put these into your calculator pretty easily. You should get the numbers 9 for the first one, 1 for the next, and 19 for the third one. Okay? So write it out in function notation. It'll make it a little bit easier. Now find the slope of the line through these points. You'll have this equation, so you don't have to worry about remembering it. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to label my points. I've got x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 is negative 6, minus y1 is negative 8. We got a minus a negative, so we have a boom, boom. Then I have x2 negative 2 minus x1 5. Negative 6 plus 8 is 2. Negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. So really, those aren't very bad problems. Just use your calculator. Now, the next one, guys, is kind of an order of operations thing, and you have to be real careful. Remember, first you take care of parentheses. Since there aren't any, we go to exponents. So I have 6 minus 3 squared. Well, 3 squared is 9. Then times 4 over 1 minus 6. Now I'm going to take care of multiplication. So I have 6 minus 9 times 4 is 36 over 1 minus 6. Now I can do my subtraction. 6 minus 36 is negative 30. 1 minus 6 is negative 5. And that equals positive 6. So watch out with those. You can use your calculator to help you out. The next one, we're just solving for x. Remember, there's a 1 between that negative and that parenthesis, so I'm going to distribute first. 9x minus 3x plus 2 plus 10 equals 0. I'm going to combine my like terms. 9x minus 3x is 6x. 2 plus 10 is 12 equals 0. I'm going to move 12 to the other side, so I get 6x equals negative 12. Then I divide both sides by 6, and I got x equals negative 2. And then we've seen number 19 before. I'm sure y'all can do this one on your own. It's asking how many people will be in the party after h hours. So it's going to be p equals something. Do your best. If you need help with that, come let me know. So guys, you can see a lot of these questions are really easy. We got through the review really fast. Make sure you study and ask questions, and everything will be all right. Good luck.